Now, Toronto City Council has voted to rename Dundas Street, and as the province moves to step 3, the city says it will begin to gradually reopen several recreational amenities starting Monday. Mayor John Tory, who joins us live now for his weekly check-in. Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good. Let's start with the reopening of Step 3 tomorrow. A lot of people excited. Tell us a little bit about the recreational amenities here in the city and what kind of protocols will be in place.
Well, the protocols will be what people expect. For example, in some cases, there will be a need to make reservations, although for some of the indoor pools, for example, but there will also be walk-up spots available, and the same with some of the fitness activities. And it's going to be done on a staged basis so that starting on Monday, you'll get the indoor fitness and the walking facilities. You'll be able to have slightly larger gatherings. Of course, you'll have outside of the city's own facilities, you'll be able to have indoor dining and so on. Then starting Wednesday, we open up the swimming pools to a greater extent, and then next Monday, the youth spaces and senior spaces, and the indoor zoos next Saturday. Indoor zoos meaning the part of our Toronto Zoo that is indoors, which is a lot of the different exhibits. So there's a lot of different things happening that take us much more back into the direction of normal. Outdoor gatherings up to 100 people. Some of the crowd scenes at places like sports events will be bigger. Indoor events, you can start. We'll be able to start having the Budweiser stage type concerts with fairly large seating allowances, but still capacity limits. So it won't be absolutely full shoulder to shoulder, but it'll be a much bigger crowd than people have been used to for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. So with the movement of more people now, there's been this conversation about vaccine passports as well as mandating vaccines. We've seen several businesses taking matters into their own hands. As Mayor of Toronto, would you kind of like to see something that's consistent throughout?
Well, I just think people are going to need it. I mean, I'm not tied up in the philosophical or political debate about this or about privacy or any of that sort of thing. I'm just dealing with the world of practicality, which is, for example, the government of Canada, our own national government, says in order to get back into the country, if you went across to Niagara Falls, New York, that you would need to have proof that you'd been vaccinated twice in order to avoid the quarantine. So people will need some proof. And I think all that the government of Ontario has to say is, which I think they did yesterday, you will be able to go on their information system, which is called COVAX, where all the vaccines are recorded, and get proof that you've been vaccinated twice and proof that somebody will accept. And so people call it by various names. There's all this controversy that's arisen about the word passport and all this kind of thing, as if people are going to be having demanded to be shown their papers all the time. They just need to have something that if they choose to get it, and if they need it, because even the government has said they need it, that they can get it and know where to get it and how to get it. So I just think people should stop being tiptoeing around on this and just say, yes, if you need a receipt showing you've been vaccinated twice that will be satisfactory to those who are asking for it, then you will have one. And that doesn't pass judgment on who should ask or why they should ask or when they should ask. It just says people will not be inconvenienced in order to show that they've been vaccinated if they're asked to do so.
Mayor Tory, Torontonians, they love their sports teams. We heard Toronto FC talking about having 7,000 cheering them on. The Blue Jays want to play here in Canada. I know it's not in your control, but are you hearing anything? Do you know what might happen with that?
I gather that they're having some meetings at the end of this week, which was the timetable that was set, for example, by the Blue Jays. But I think it's time. I mean, the city has written to say that we're happy with the protocol put forward by the Blue Jays and by TFC. And so that from our standpoint and the provinces, as I understand it, we've said we're okay with what they've put forward to be make sure people are kept safe. So I think it's time. We want these teams back. It's good for the psychology of the city. It's good for business. If you look at all the restaurants that rely on, crowds at BMO Field and at the Rogers Centre, they're starving. So I just think it's time, and I think the federal government is on to that, and I suspect you'll hear from them soon, but I'm not in charge of that. I just think that it's time, though, to say we can work things out such that we can keep everybody safe, including the players and all the spectators, and follow all the protocol rules. They put forward like 150-page documents on how to keep it safe, so I think they should take yes for an answer and move forward.
Really quickly, we have about 10 seconds. Renaming of Dundas. Anything you would like to see in particular?
Well, no. I mean, we'll have a wide open process to decide what the name should be, but I would just ask the question of people who are not happy about this. If you were looking today at a man who delayed the abolition of slavery for quite a long time, who never visited Toronto, never did anything for Toronto, never came here, never cared about here. If you were looking today and saying, would you name one of our major streets after him? I know the answer would be no. And so we're simply saying, in recognition of the pain that was caused by the delay in the abolition of slavery way back when, that we're going to be respectful of that aspect of history and remove his name, and we'll have a wide open process to decide what the name should be.
Mayor Tory, thank you so much for speaking with me. I'm out of time,
Thanks,
but
Faiza.
I'm going to send you to Sid and Dina, and I hope they ask you about a story I've been tracking since last year. When are you getting your next haircut? Dina, Sid.
That's the question.
Next week.
Yeah, we've never asked that of Mayor Tory before.